I've said it before and I'll say it again. Bella Beauté Bar is definitely one of those indie brands that comes out with an awful lot of products. I do like their quality, but they're definitely one that, like, if you don't love the current offering that they're coming out with, wait, because in a month, a palette that might be a little bit more you will be out on offering. And this is a new one for them. I know I just talked about a new one from them, but this is their new one. It's Dead Roses. And I have to say a massive thank you to Makeup on Your Radar for the information on this. And these fabulous swatches come from Deandra I've talked about her before. She's the one who actually just did a collaboration. It was the Ultraviolet with Bella Beauté Bar. Wow, she's fantastic. She does the best swatches ever. Let's discuss. So as I said, this is the Dead Roses palette and it's launching January 26th at 11 a.m. CST. So where we were looking at the ultraviolet and that was all purples, we see that this is actually a little bit more varied in terms of colours. It reminds me somewhat, ever so slightly, of there was a Beauty Bay palette a couple of years ago that was launched for Valentine's Day that had reds and purples. It kind of looks like that. However, if you're looking at the swatches, you see that there's some really interesting multi-chromes. And I will also say that getting a decent red eyeshadow, kind of tricky. It does look like the pans are removable, so you can change it around if that's what you might like. It looks like there's a good level of depth in here. I might like one or two more shades of lightness here, but it does look very, very pretty. It's also kind of perfect for Valentine's Day. Like, it kind of links in there really, really well. Do you see what I mean about Deandra's swatches? Like, these are so, so good. You can even see here the multi-chrome and how it shifts. Like, there's a purple to yellowy, orangey green. Like, that's quite interesting, let's be real. And of course, there's a purple element to this palette. As I said before, if you really want a purple palette from Bella Beauté Bar, you could also look at their ultraviolet, which is done in collaboration with Deandra. So if you don't want the reds, just keep in mind that there is an alternative there. But that looks beautiful. And you can kind of see how the whole colour story works together. I will say I have one or two palettes from Bella Beauté Bar and I really do enjoy the quality, but like, it is tricky to get over here. But if you are in the States and you have a little bit of spare cashola going and you like this, it might be worth considering. And can I just say that the marketing that they've done on this, it is kind of cool, right? It looks a bit gothic. There's something about this that's kind of giving me The Craft. You know, it's a little bit spooky. It's a little bit interesting. I mean, that poor teddy bear, R.I.P. But kind of cool. Kind of an interesting theme here. In all, I think it's actually a really, really pretty palette. I don't know how much it's retailing for, but I suspect it'll be its usual price of probably about like $69-ish. But there are, of course, codes that you can use to get money off. Deandra has a code. Makeup on Your Radar has a code. Go and check those out. Never pay full price, my fabulous friends. I definitely think this is a really, really pretty palette. However, I could dupe a lot of this from my existing collection, so it's not something that necessarily speaks to me. I personally feel like if you put the two recent Bella Beauté Bar collections together, i.e. the Ultraviolet and the Dead Roses, I'm that little bit more inclined towards the Ultraviolet. I just feel like it's a little bit more thought out. And I'm not saying anything negative about Dead Roses, but I think maybe the Ultraviolet is a little bit more my kind of aesthetic. Now, if you love this, fantastic, absolutely delighted for you. Let me know what you guys think. I also feel like I would personally like if Bella Beauté Bar kind of calmed down a little bit. You know, I know for an indie brand you need to kind of do a lot of releases to try and stay relevant, but I think they have so many fantastic supporters, like the likes of Deandra, the likes of Brittany Huffman, Ellie Starr, etc., that I think if they look towards them and share their content and inspo from their current palettes, I think they would do just as well. There isn't a need to come out with like a new palette every couple of weeks, because it feels like a bit much. I personally get a bit overwhelmed. I don't know about you guys. If you're like, no, give me more, that's fair enough. That's you. This is just my opinion. But I would like to see them kind of slow down, because there is a smidgen of an overlap between this and the Ultraviolet. And I would personally love to see, particularly when it's a collab palette between Bella Beauté Bar and Deandra, the Ultraviolet, I'd like to see her moment in the sun before they start talking about a new palette. Do you know what I mean? I just kind of want them to give that its moment and kind of say, this is it for the next 2 months, and then maybe come out with their new one. Again, I get why they're doing that. This is very clearly Valentine's Day. Like, I get it. But I'm a bit overwhelmed. Anyways, that's very ranty. Let me know what you guys think. Are you interested in this, or are you on a no buy, low buy? What's the story? I am nosy as always.